A good book is an event in my life. One can acquire everything in solitude except character. There are as many styles of beauty as there are visions of happiness. I love her beauty, but I fear her mind. A novel is a mirror walking along a main road. If you don't love me, it does not matter. Anyway, I can love for both of us. Our true passions are selfish. All religions are founded on the fear of the many and the cleverness of the few. Pleasure is often spoiled by describing it. Beauty is nothing other than the promise of happiness. Love born in the brain is more spirited, doubtless, than true love, but it has only flashes of enthusiasm. It knows itself too well, it criticizes itself incessantly. So far from banishing thought, it is itself reared only upon a structure of thought. A very small degree of hope is sufficient to cause the birth of love. After moral poisoning, one requires physical remedies and a bottle of champagne. Faith, I am no such fool. Everyone for himself in this desert of selfishness which is called life. The idea which tyrants find most useful is the idea of God. Indeed, man has two different beings inside him. What devil thought of that malicious touch? Each man for himself in that desert of egoism which is called life. The only way of touching a heart is to wound it. The tyranny of public opinion, and what an opinion, is as fatuous in the small towns of France as it is in the United States of America. But, if I sample this pleasure so prudently and circumspectly, it will no longer be a pleasure. I am mad, I am going under, I must follow the advice of a friend, and pay no heed to myself. What is the use of a love that makes one yawn? One might as well take to religion. Politics in a literary work is like a gunshot in the middle of a concert, something vulgar, and however, something which is impossible to ignore. Your career will be a painful one. I divine something in you which offends the vulgar. Beauty is the promise of happiness. The pleasures of love are always in proportion to our fears. Love is like a fever which comes and goes quite independently of the will. The lover thinks oftener of reaching his mistress than the husband thinks of guarding his wife. The prisoner thinks more often of escape than the jailer thinks of locking the doors. Therefore, in spite of every obstacle, the lover and the prisoner are certain to succeed. One of the traits of genius is not to drag its thought through the rut worn by vulgar minds. The boredom of married life inevitable destroys love when love has preceded marriage. I cannot provide the reality of events, I can only convey their shadow. Misery destroys judgment. To write a book is to risk being shot at in public. The more one pleases generally, the less one pleases profoundly. The suspicion that a rival is loved is painful enough already, but to have the love that he inspires in her confessed to one in detail by the woman whom one adores is without doubt the acme of suffering. It was the destiny of Napoleon, would it one day be his? Julien felt himself to be strong and resolute like a man who sees clearly into his own heart. If you think of paying court to those in power, your eternal ruin is assured. The great drawback of being witty is that you have to keep your eyes fixed on the semi-idiots around you and absorb their worthless sensations.